This week in Legendary Golf, we're analyzing the swing of LPGA Tour player Lexi Thompson. And she has quite a few qualities about her swing that are very powerful and enable her to play very well. And then she has some unique moves that most people don't really have. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking and seeing that when she starts her setup, she kind of reaches a little bit for the ball. I'm not a fan of that because then one day you reach for it and the next day you don't reach for it as much. But it works well for her, and she can pretty much get it going every single time in the same spot. That's good. And the next thing we like to look at is after she's reaching for the ball, to move her feet, she's going to take her left foot and she's going to move it up a little bit. And if we're based on where she's aiming with her feet and the club face, she moves her foot up, the left foot up a little bit, and then she moves the right foot, opens up the left foot slightly, goes from reaching for the ball with her club to getting ever so slightly closer so that she can hang her arms down a little bit more. She does this also by giving herself a little bit more bend from the hips and the waist. So in her setup position right here, she looks really good. Back's nice and straight. Club shaft is perpendicular to her back angle. Her legs are activated, so she's all set. On the way back, she takes the club, sweeps it, so it's more of a one-piece takeaway, till she gets about hip high. Then she starts cocking the wrist slightly, loading against the right side very well. And as she's doing that, she gets a full shoulder turn and a full wrist cock as well at the top. So right here at the top, she is ready to fire on all cylinders on the way down. So she's got her angle of her right leg is still there. And on the way down, very powerfully uses the hips to generate a lot of speed until she gets to a point where she stops the left hip. See, because right here she looks like she's going to have a normal rotational finish, rotational move through the ball and into the finish. She's got her right foot, or I should say the right heel off the ground, and everything is on her left side. She's coming into the ball with her hands ahead of the club head, ball's still on the tee, but then her left hip stops and her right side moves up. So it's like she goes from down to up, and she moves with both legs up. As you can see, it's almost like a hop. So she hops back with the left foot, and the right foot never really turns to allow that right knee to go more towards the target. And there goes her shoulders and arms through the finish. As you can see, because she stops like that, momentum, centrifugal force and momentum push the arms out towards her intended line of flight, because the rest of her body is moving upward and it can't move around just yet. Then on to the finish, she then has total control, but before that, it's a little bit it can be a little bit uneasy for her. And I think that's where some of her inconsistencies come in for her shot making. But she's very powerful, and she can generate a lot of club head speed. I think she could be a little bit more consistent with more of a lower body rotation. Next up, we have Beau Hossler with his tee shot. And looking at his setup, he looks like he's a little bit more relaxed than some of the ones we've seen before. His knees aren't as activated as some of the others, but his arms are hanging straight down. His feet have good width to them for his shoulders, and it looks like a nice straight back for that. Now, as he moves into his backswing, what you'll notice is has more of a one-piece takeaway, starts to load up on the right side or against the right side, nice full shoulder turn. Right about here is where he starts to coil even more because of his hip action. His hip action is starting to move forward in his golf swing, and at the top of his swing, you'll notice that his hands come back down onto a lower plane, shallows out right before impact. And as we can see right before impact, he's slightly off his right heel, and mainly that's because what he does is he gets to his left side and his left hip stops. Once his left hip stops, the left leg starts to become straight, and as it becomes straight, there's no more turning for the left hip. The left hip then stops, the upper body fires through the ball, and if you notice on his finish, he has a real high finish because since his lower body stops, he then comes through the hitting area with the upper body going up instead of around. This is more an old school style swing where the hands are real high, and in his finish, the hands are, as you can see, a little bit above the head. But the left leg straightening is one thing I don't really agree with. He's been playing real well, and I'm glad to see that. But what can happen is when your left leg straightens on you, you can start entering the hitting area a little bit more inconsistently. So it'll be fun to watch him as he's progressing through his earlier years on the tour. Like I said, he's been playing really, really well lately. He's a great putter. But looking at it one more time, he goes back, loads up, starts the left hip down, but then the hips seem to slide and then come up. It's a turn, slide, down, up, finish. And all I can say is that can generate inconsistency in your swing. All right? Until next time, Tom out.